then, so final video review for this week is for The Clinch by Nicole Disney. If you want to check out my review, I have just posted that. So if you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog, then there is a link within the post. And this is the video review. So The Clinch by Nicole Disney. This was fantastic. This was so good. Eden, she finds herself face to face with a very confident and very cocky newcomer to the world of UFC, which is basically boxing, and martial arts sort of thing. And Brooklyn, her family comes with this reputation, as does she, being a bit of a brawler. And not only does their rivalry sort of have the attention of the world, Eden and Brooklyn's rivalry, but it sort of forces them into a really close position, one that was a lot closer than they ever imagined they would find themselves in. You know, they're supposed to be rivals. So teaching others and supporting students, just like herself, is something that Eden's really passionate about. Brooklyn has to be her biggest challenge yet, and she's sort of seeing past her front, and it leads Eden to discover they might just be perfect for one another. So this really is sort of like an enemies to friends / lovers type thing, and I absolutely adored it. You know, it had heart, it had emotion, undeniable passion, where both characters were, you know, they wanted to succeed, and they were going to succeed in whatever it was they were out to succeed in. And they both sort of had different dreams for that, but it was kind of the same thing. It was to succeed. And I felt that both of them, initially I really loved their rivalry. I thought, this is going to be great, they're going to just like not get on, and then they're going to have a big fallout, and then I was like, oh, it's going to be great. But actually it turned out to be more, because they had this ongoing internal sort of emotional war with their own feelings as well as with each other. And it was such a dynamic story, with sort of many important messages from that. You know, you need support to succeed, to learn patience for other people and listening and all that, working hard, obviously that's always important if you want to achieve a dream, but also to stand up for yourself, no matter what the cost, because sometimes the cost of being quiet and everything isn't worth what you would reap as a reward if you just sort of stood up for yourself, basically, which was really, really important sort of message in this story. So Eden and Brooklyn, they couldn't have been more different, but they just worked so perfectly. As a team, they were like focusing on achieving the dreams. You know, they were brilliant when they actually just put their squabbles aside. They were brilliant together. And Brooklyn really needed sort of putting in her place and you know, bringing into line. And there was no one better for that task than Eden. She was perfect for it. But I loved how sort of she kept pushing Brooklyn, not only mentally but physically as well, to make her a better person. She had to help her see the importance of not just hiding who she really was, because external pressures dictated that she should do so. She wanted to bring out that insecurity in Brooklyn, and then make her a likeable character, which Eden totally succeeded in doing. The best thing about this story, though, was the complete unpredictability, because I just couldn't, I had no idea how it was going to turn out. You know, all you could do was hope that Brooklyn was going to come around and she was going to see the bigger picture, and she was going to, you know, do the right thing and take something for herself instead of giving in to the external pressures that really sort of bore down on her. And Eden, rather than just sort of, I think for me with Eden, she had to get to know her, because she just made this assumption of her, and it was great to see them sort of getting to know one another, because Eden had sort of got a bit of a image of Brooklyn that she'd portrayed, and she had to adjust how she felt about that when she got to know her as well. So it was that emotion between them that really drove this for me. It wasn't so heavily focused on the sport, it was about their character development, and it was more than just romance. It was refreshing, because it brought something different. It was more about personal growth for the characters. The romance was happening, it was going to happen, but this was all about personal development. And so from this story, you know, the experience, not only did I learn, but also the characters learn as well, which I love that. When you're learning with the characters, everything's great. So I absolutely loved it. But the story, it like I said, it was very much one filled with hope. It had that. Sports stories tend to bring that. There has to be this element to succeed, and therefore they elude hope, and this one really had it. But I liked that it had a lot of built-in raw emotion, like really raw, and that angst. So you started to feel very passionately from Brooklyn's side, from Eden's side. You could see both points of view, and you won't be able to pick just one of them to side with, because you are going to be able to see the argument that both of them are making, and they're equally as good. So I happen to love how I could totally engage with like both sides of their story, and I could see Brooklyn's point of view, and I could see Eden's point of view, and I agreed with both of them, which made it a very tough decision, and somebody was going to have to make that tough decision, and you just hoped that when they did, it was going to work out for the best. So you had that hope, and so that's why I love this. It was rivalry, but on a level where you could literally stand in both corners. And I highly recommend this story. Anyone who likes angsty sort of passion-filled romance with a good rivalry will love this. It's got really healthy sportsmanship in it as well, which is just thrown in for good measure. So I'm very, very excited to see what Nicole will bring us in future, and hopefully we'll get to see Eden and Brooklyn again, because I absolutely adore them. I think they're brilliant, and now that they've sorted some stuff, I think they could be unstoppable. So yeah, I'd really love to see where they are in the future. But I really, really enjoyed the story. I think it was really great, really engaging, and like I say, not too heavily focused on sports. So it is romance, but it does have that sport element, which is just absolutely brilliant. Adds a new level to the dynamic. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of The Clinch by Nicole Disney, which I hope you will. If you've read The Clinch, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Please comment below. Please let me know what you thought of the story, because it's always great to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't read it yet, but it's on your to be read list, you're planning to read it, or you're now super intrigued and you're thinking, I really, really want to read that, again, please comment below, because it's always great to hear what you're reading. And if you do read it, I hope you enjoy it. Bye.